Hello, good evening. My name is Schipma, and I want to welcome you to the final webinar in our Summer 2025 Family Webinar Series. Tonight, I'm joined by my colleague, Dr. Domonique Crosby, who is the Associate Director for Residential Education, and we are very excited that you've chosen to join us for tonight's conversation about move-in and fall welcome. A little bit of information before we get started. First, we wanted to make sure that you know how to submit questions during the webinar. You'll notice that we have given you the ability to ask questions via the Q&A feature, so feel free to add any questions that you may have there. At the end of the presentation, we will also have our respective offices' emails, so if you'd like to reach out via email, that's totally fine as well. Second, we will be showing a PowerPoint during tonight's webinar. However, if you prefer to download the PowerPoint and follow along on your own, I'm going to drop the link to download that PowerPoint in the chat. And as another note, in the chat feature, we will be sharing specific links and email addresses for the duration of the webinar, just hopefully helpful links. But if you miss any of them, you can feel free again to email our offices or transitions@woostil.edu, and we will send along all of the information that we have started. This this webinar is going to be recorded live and it will be uploaded to the families.woostil.edu website for review should you have further questions. And after our presentation, we'll move into the Q&A portion of the evening. So we can go ahead and get on started.
Perfect. Okay, Allie. Well, thank you so much for that introduction. Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are so excited to have you tonight. Let me be one of the first people to tell you welcome to our WashU family. We're really excited to have you, your family, your students, everyone join us. And I know you're probably anticipating our big day. We're only a couple days away, 11 days, until we have the majority of our first year class joining us. And so I'm here, as Allie said, my name is Domonique Crosby, and I'm the Associate Director for Residential Education. I'm going to talk to you about moving in. It's time to come and join us and start your journey. So I'll talk to you a little bit about that experience. So before you get here, there's a couple of things that we want you to do to get ready. We want to make sure that your student has submitted a student ID photo. That's so important, and their immunization records. So they will need to have a photo ID and their completed immunization records in order to move in. They cannot submit their ID. They won't be able to take a picture when they get here. It must be submitted ahead of time. So please be sure that the student has done that before moving day. Next thing we would say is don't forget to look and see what time is your move-in slot. Looking on the housing portal will let you know. If you haven't signed up for a check-in time, you should definitely get onto that now. So go onto the housing portal and make sure you do so. That will be the time that you can move in. It's really important that you have a move-in slot for either Friday or Saturday of next week. Next week, folks. We want you to also review all of our policies and procedures. They're available on our website, and so you can look at them by searching WashU Residential Life Policies and Procedures. Pretty easy. So if you search that, you'll be able to find them, and that will help you know what you can and can't do, more importantly, once you arrive on campus. And the most important thing, finish packing. If you haven't started packing, start packing. But hopefully you've already started, so you want to finish. Our move-in guide will tell you all the information that you need, and it's located on our website. That'll help you really navigate move-in. I'm still going to talk a little bit about it today, but if you forget anything that I say, you can always go to that guide and look up different things. An important note that we want to say here for you is make sure that all the boxes, items, anything in a box is labeled with the student's first name, the building, and their room number. All of that information is in the housing portal. Obviously, you know your first and last name. So then when you arrive, you're going to check in, you're going to come again for reference our move-in guide, and you'll come to the Simon lot, which is right near our Danforth University Center during your check-in time. Do not arrive ahead of time, arrive right on time. There's enough time in that slot to get you through, we promise. The student will need to bring a government ID into the Danforth University Center so that they can get checked in. Family members, we know you're really excited. Take pictures from the car, but we ask that you stay in the car. All guests, the only person allowed inside the duck is the student. Everyone else, just wait, and we promise we'll give them back so you can help them get moved in. At your check-in, the student's going to receive their WashU ID that they've already submitted a photo for. They're going to receive name tags for all parents, family, guests We want to know who you are. We want to be able to say hello to you by name. So we're asking that you wear a name tag throughout your duration of your time on campus, and we're going to give that to that student when they arrive. They'll also get their Metro U Pass, which is used for them to ride the bus around St. Louis. It's already included in their tuition, so we encourage them pick it up and use it. It's a free way to get around. They'll get their room key, which is most important to me, is that you have a way to get into the room. So we'll be sure to give you that. And then a one-time moving assistance ticket. Super, super important, and I'll talk more about it in a few seconds. And a parking placard. If your student loses anything, don't let it be these two things, right? Keep the moving assistance ticket and the parking placard. If you lose your ID, we can help you real fast. If you lose your room key, we can help you real fast. These things are kind of hard to get a second one. So please don't let your student lose them. They're super important to getting you to the other side where your student can actually move in. After your student comes back, they'll meet you back at your car. You have a little reunion. You'll take some cute pictures. So excited. They're a college student now. And then you'll get ready to come across campus to move in. So the students are getting in the vehicle and then they're going to be directed to their residential building. They'll drive across the street, not too far. And the placard that I just talked about will allow you to get onto what we call the South 40. And this is where most of our first year students live. It's a very exciting space. And you'll get onto this side of campus. It'll look a little like Disney and it'll be a magical experience, but you'll need that placard that I talked about. The drivers will stay in their vehicles. Someone's going to help move them. And they'll come to their spot and then boom, movers will come. For the one-time assistance, they're going to look for your ticket. You're going to hand them that ticket. They're going to move all of your things into some bins and move it up to your space. And then afterward, the driver's going to take the car over to our long-term parking, which is in our east end garage. And that's a little far, so we know that. So we have a shuttle that'll bring you back to the Simon lot so that you can just walk right across the street over to the South 40 and meet your student back at their room. An important note is we have to keep that traffic going all day, right? There's lots and lots of students, over 800 people a day moving in, lots of families. So no other vehicles are going to be allowed onto the South 40 until after move-in is finished at 5 p.m. I know that you might go to Target or Walmart, go get lunch. We hear you. We know there's other things to do. You can totally do all of that. The shuttle will pick you up from the garage and then drop you off so you can walk back across the street with your things. If you're going to get big stuff, wait until after 5, because then you can just pull up by your student's building and drop things off there. But other than that, we ask that you try to, limit your shopping until after 5. It'll be a lot cooler at that time anyway, so we're just trying to help you out to, just make sure that you can stay on campus during that time. Again, I talked about the moving assistance. It's really important to know. So we're going to have 3 lanes. You don't have to know the lanes today. You don't really have to know anything. Your placard is going to teach us what lane they are. So this is an example of 2 parking placards that we have, the red and the green. There is a blue one, but I don't have enough space to show you all 3 on this PowerPoint slide. But there are 3, I promise. And they'll tell us what lane you're supposed to be in. It tells us where you're living, all kinds of information for our team to be able to get you to the right spot. You just need to fill it out. So inside the duck, you're going to get this placard and you're going to put on the student's name on it and a phone number. You will not be able to leave without a phone number. I know you don't want to put your phone number on this placard, but if you just happen to accidentally leave your car, even though we told you to stay in it, we just want to be able to call you and tell you to come pick it up and take it to the east end. So please, please, please keep the placard, put it in the window. That's how we're going to know where to get you to go. After your student has been moved in, we're going to take the placard and your one-time moving ticket away because you can't get back onto the South 40 until after 5 p.m. And after 5 p.m., you don't need a placard, so that doesn't matter. We're going to take those things and you won't have to worry about them ever again. But while you're moving in, they're super important. Number 1 things on your day are those parking placards and the moving ticket. All right, so what's in the room? Now you're inside, you got your things there, these movers have dropped things off, and we just want you to know some things that are in your room that you might need. There's an extra long twin bed in there, super important. You only see these sheets when it's the beginning of our year. Pick those sheets up that you've never picked up in your life. Now your college student needs them, and twin XL bed. Then we have a mattress, we have that for them. There's carpeted, the rooms are carpeted, just to know. There's a desk with a chair. There are blinds, closets, a dresser, trash can, and recycling, central air, heating, gas, electricity, all the important things you need to feel like you're at home. We got it. We also have Wi-Fi, and an opportunity for students to connect to any streaming services that they might have via our Wi-Fi. If you're wondering specifics, I'm not going to go into specifics. We have over 40 buildings on the South 40, so I can't get you every room size today. On their website at reslife.wusu.edu is all the specifics. Who's going to clean my room? When do they clean it? What kind of floor plan do I have? What's my room type? All of that is on the website, and you can head right there to dive a little deeper into your room. A couple of more things. All right. We know that some students have a lot of stuff, and maybe you're going to bring a U-Haul or a box trailer. Fine. We don't encourage you to have that many items, but to each his own. We have a spot over in our church lot where that will go. So that no matter where you live on campus, you would unload there. That doesn't mean a lot to you now, but just know that if your student lives somewhere like in Danforth, it's a little bit of a trek to get from there, from the church lot where we're going to have you go to the building. But it will happen and we'll get a mover to help you in those things. But again, we don't encourage your students to have that many items. Just saying, the rooms are big, but not that big. I've already talked about shopping. You can't shop until after 5 p.m. unless you're going to walk it over. So if you got a couple little bags, go for it. But if you're trying to buy a mini fridge, we do have a spot on campus where you can buy them on move-in day. But if you don't want to buy it from there and you want to go to Target or something, then bring that after 5. Mailroom will be open for you to get your big things that maybe you've shipped. Remember, you can ship things to campus, but we will not put it in your room for you. You can ship it here and you can go to the mailroom and pick it up on the days of move-in and then, push your cart to get it over to your space, but we won't put it in there ahead of time. As a reminder, our long-term parking is over in Danforth University Center in the East End Garage. The East End Garage is where we will send all folks until it's full, and then we'll use the Danforth University Center. So don't get mad if our parking attendants tell you you can't park there if you come at an 8 a.m. parking slot. It's not full, I promise you. The East End Garage is waiting for you, and our shuttle is there. It has air conditioning. Don't forget the move-in guide has all the information. If your student needs a physical key, now is the time to request it. We have to make them. We only have 11 days left. And so please, please, please fill that out. It's in the housing portal. Fill it out quick and we'll have a physical key. If your student doesn't fill it out, we might take some time to get the physical key before the end of the day. If your student is an international student, they have a special day to move in on August 13th. If you can't arrive then, no worries. August 15th and 16th will still be around and those students can check in on those days. If checking in on the 13th, they'll check in at the alumni house, and there's already been an email sent to those students, so you should already know. And if they're arriving via an airplane, somebody's going to pick them up. So no need to figure out how to get from there to campus. We'll handle it for you. We just need to be communicated with. And again, all that information's been sent via email. Last thing for me, if you have a transfer student or an exchange student, we have a special check-in for those folks on August 19th in the Village House, and we'll have check-in from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Some of the same services, some folks around to support them. There will not be any movers. I just want to be transparent about that now. So if you have a transfer student or an exchange student, they will have to move their things in themselves. It's a little closer in proximity, and we'll have lots of bins and things available. That's a little bit about moving. I'm going to pass it over to Allie to talk to you about the fun part, which is about fall welcome and orientation.
Good evening, everyone. We see your questions in the chat, and I believe Dominique is going to switch to answer some of the Q&A ones from her portion at this time. So to talk a little bit through fall welcome and parent and family orientation, on the next slide, we'll see that there are just a little bit of an overview of our office. So my name is Allie. Like I said, I'm the Director of Student Transitions and Engagement, and our office oversees the orientation experience that your students will take part in. We also have peer mentors called WUSAs, and those are WashU Student Ambassadors. And those students are what you would typically understand as an orientation leader, and then they also stay with your student through March. And so there's 7 to 8 WUSAs that are assigned per residential facility, and they sort of just like help students transition. They partner with the RAs to put on programs and make sure that your student knows where their first day of classes are, and they sort of orient them to the WashU system throughout this first week of fall welcome. Our office also oversees the first year experience. And so we have a class called Bear Prints. If your student is interested in maybe just learning a little bit more about the nuances of transitioning to a collegiate environment, Bear Prints is a class that they can sign up for, and registration is still open should they be interested. If you want to learn more about that class and what that has to offer, in addition to speaking to our instructional specialist, you can email transitions@woostel.edu, and someone from my office can get back to you and connect you with the main professor and curriculum specialist for that course. Finally, our office partners with parent and family programs to lead parent and family orientation, which we'll go over in the next couple of slides, but then also Parent and Family Weekend, which is happening the last weekend in September. So be sure to register for that if you have not seen it just yet. Parent and family orientation. So during the weekend, the 15th, 16th, and 17th, while your student is navigating campus and moving in and doing all of those fun things, we also have some specific programming for you. If you go to families.woostel.edu, you'll see the parent and family orientation link, which leads you to various events, which I'll cover in just a few slides. But want to make sure that you're able to RSVP. This is important because, as Dr. Crosby mentioned earlier, all folks who are on campus are going to need a name tag, and this is the way that we can ensure that we print a name tag for your student to pick up for you at the central check-in. So let's talk a little bit about what events are available for parents and families during move-in weekend. Move-in weekend, really, we start our big programming on August 16th at 7:30 p.m. There's a family welcome reception, which is a toast with the chancellor and Dr. G, who is our vice chancellor for student affairs. This is a really great opportunity to mix and mingle with other parents and family members and also get to know the chancellor and Dr. G. At that same time, we also have a mandatory residential floor meeting for students. And so each evening on the 15th and the 16th, like Dominique mentioned, there is a floor meeting that students need to participate in. They have to go to one or the other, but we prefer that they go to the one that of the day that they move in. So while your student is in this meeting on August 16th, you have a chance to mix and mingle with the chancellor and Dr. G. A little bit more of a run of events, like I mentioned, during this fall parent and family orientation and fall welcome in general, while parents are on campus, there is some mix and mingle time that can obviously spend time with their students. But we also have some key events that students must attend. So we have programming for parents and families as well. So you'll see on the left side of the slide the student programming, and those are mandatory programs that they need to attend. And on the right side, we have a host of things for parents and families to attend on that day. Starting at 7:30 a.m., there's a coffee and connection. So if you'd like to get a pastry, have a coffee, and prepare for the parents as partners session, you can feel free to do that. Our parents and partners session will be a host of panelists from upper administrative leadership at WashU talking about the best way that we in student affairs partner with parents to help their students succeed throughout their time here. From there, there are dean's meetings for families, and so families are able to split into the respective colleges that their students are electing into, and learn more about what the academic schedule for the semester looks like, learn more about the academic resources, and all of these sort of programs happen in the same area, which is in it's listed on our website, but it's also in Edison Theater, so you can have a chance to have a Q&A with some of our panelists and specifically meet the dean and ask some academic-based questions. Then at noon, there's a very large resource fair in our athletic complex. This we are hosting, I believe it's 56 different offices from across campus that will just have a few representatives from their office that will talk through the resources that they offer. We'll have some good giveaways, and Residential Life, in addition to my office, will be there if there's any questions that you have that are lingering from move-in or about fall welcome. Then for students who have taken a gap year, you will have received a specific invite today to some specific programming, but there's also the athlete family reception, and if you are a parent or family of an athlete, you should have received specific invitation to those things as well. On Sunday, there's a couple of different receptions that are very specifically based to certain populations. So feel free to check out the website to see which receptions are available for you and your students to attend. And if you have any questions about them, you can feel free to reach out. Then finally, you should be preparing to say goodbye to your students, definitely before 7 o'clock because they have a mandatory meeting that they need to be at. So your hugs, your farewells, even a few tears can be shed just before that time. But at 7 o'clock, we do have students who have to be in a specific floor meeting to learn more about what the week ahead and what orientation is going to look like for them. Just to give you a very brief overview about what the class is going to look like for our orientation. Each day is uniquely set up, and your student can see the full schedule on our website. There's a ton of different events that they can filter through, but really the key experiences that they'll have are an academic experience. They'll spend about 2.5 days with their academic units, learning more about what specific resources there are to offer, what programming, how can they get help, how can they meet their professors, how to be the best prepared first year student that they can be. So that will happen on the first 2.5 days of fall welcome. Then they transition into learning more about the university values and community expectations. A big part of coming to college is learning how to live with others, work with others, and really immerse yourself in the community. And so their specific small groups will lead them through the different aspects of what it means to be a WashU student and how can you interact with the city of St. Louis because there's so many wonderful things that happen. They will also have the opportunity to attend community socials. So we have a lot of, in the same way that we focus on academic preparedness, we also focus on social preparedness and how can we facilitate making friends and building connections. And so there's a lot of strategic partnership that we have with both the Office of Residential Life and Campus Life to make sure that students have some fun too. And there's a ton of events that they can either opt into or maybe take a break. Similar to first year students, transfer and exchange students also have a very specific schedule, but you'll still see sort of those core main experiences, talking about their academic schools, meeting their deans, university values, and community expectations. And then one thing you'll see throughout our orientation fall welcome programming is in the Lou experiences. On the last day of fall welcome, we have an opportunity for students to sign up to go to off campus excursions to sort of get more acquainted with the city of St. Louis. So there's some students who are going to the Arch, the History Museum. There's a ton of different ways that they can sign up to go off campus and experience those. If they're not interested in that, at the same time, we have a Healthy Excellence Fair on campus where students can sort of mix and mingle with different offices, learn more about our recreational activities, our student mental health resources. And so there's something at every moment of the day for students to sort of opt into. But the In the Loop programming is particularly exciting since we have a really big focus on being in St. Louis and for St. Louis here at WashU. And then finally, some of the topics that we'll really talk through, Dominique's and I's offices have partnered a lot on this, is academic life and success. So how can we connect students to resources? We know that WashU has a really academically rigorous schedule, and all we want is for students to succeed. So we spend a good amount of time talking about that. And our WUSAs, our WashU student ambassadors, are students who are peer mentors for academic resources specifically. And so we'll talk about a couple of different programs throughout the fall welcome that we have on campus to help students succeed. We also talk about community living. So Dr. Crosby and her team really focus on what does it mean to be a part of a community, to live in a residential hall, and how can you get connected within those spaces. We'll talk about safety and security. So St. Louis is an amazing city, and WashU falls within some really cool neighborhoods, specifically the Loop and different things. So we'll talk about how students can travel to and from places, and for students who are from big cities, it's nothing new, but for our rural students or students who maybe aren't as acquainted to being so close to an urban environment, we have the opportunity to talk a little bit more about how students can get to and from those places. We'll talk about health and well-being, so what resources exist on campus, and we'll also talk about equity, diversity, inclusion, and what resources are available for students, the Center for Diversity and Inclusion, and how students can just learn more about themselves throughout their 4 years on campus. Like I mentioned, the In the Loop program, WashU really is in with and for St. Louis. And so we'll talk a lot about the history of St. Louis and ways students can get out into the community, since we know that's also an integral part of their experience. And then we'll focus on spirit and traditions. We end our wonderful fall welcome with a program called Convocation, which I can drop the link in the chat too for parents to tune in. That is Saturday the 23rd, but it's 60 minutes of just building school spirit and sort of kicking off the semester and their time at WashU. So those are some of the very general topics that we cover during fall welcome. Some conversations to have with your student before move-in. Maybe help them understand what their expectations are for college. And this just doesn't mean the social life that maybe they're hoping to have, but how can they make the most of their 4 years here? How can they get involved in St. Louis? What were they doing in high school that they were really passionate about that they can also carry over into their time here? We have a ton of different student groups that they can join. So just sort of helping talk with your student about preparing to get involved while also balancing the academic rigor. Planning for communication. This is a really big one. How often will you communicate? Who's going to reach out first? Will you call, text, or FaceTime? These may seem like very silly conversations to have, but overwhelmingly, this is what our first year students say. They wish they had talked about a little bit more is how, when will I call my parents? Am I going to call them every day? Because your expectations and their expectations may be different on that. So make sure that you're having conversations with them about that. Also, preparing for independent living. Right now, I would say that they really just need to immerse themselves in the culture of WashU. So, how are they taking care of themselves in the dining hall? While I love pepperoni pizza and you probably do too, eating that every meal for the day for, 6 months straight probably isn't the best idea. So, preparing them for independent living, including nutrition. We have a nutritionist on staff in our residential dining hall, but then we also have an athletic complex that students can take advantage of. We have tons of peer mentoring resources. So just kind of helping them through time management and those independent living skills. And then expectations around sharing informations about grade and academic progress. Just having these sort of conversations before students move in can be really helpful so that you both are on the same page about what that will look like moving forward. Actions to complete. I know we are had already talked about this, but these are so, 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 so important. You can find the full to-do list that students are required to do at newstudents.wusel.edu. They really must update the immunization and health history forms and submit a student ID photo. There's a lot of these things that students will not be able to get their room keys or meal cards or anything until they do these. So the top two on this list are very, very important. If they're interested in participating in some of the in the Lou experiences, like I mentioned before, there's a waiver that you can find on our website. If they could complete the year one college behavior profile, which talks a little bit about alcohol use and expectations around that and resources that WashU has, that would be great. There's also the long list of required modules, and the full checklist is on our website. Like I said, it's also in every Family Ties newsletter that you get, which if you're not signed up for and you'd like to be, please email transitions@wusel.edu, and we can get you on that listserv. But you can also find every issue that we've sent out, both for first year students and for Family Ties, on our website. Complete all the items on the before you arrive checklist and pack. Don't wait till the night before. Like I mentioned, this is our contact information. Should you have specific questions that you think of after this webinar, or maybe if you're watching it in the future, but we can go ahead and jump into some of the questions and answers if that works now. So the first question I see is, where can students upload their immunization record and photo? In the communications that I was talking about, there's a specific links to both of those things. They upload their immunization record through the Student Health Services website, and then their photo should be uploaded in Workday. Okay, next question. How long does it typically take to mail something from California to campus on average? I am actually going to tap Dr. Crosby since she is a California native and may have some good insight into this.
Yeah, I am. So I would say it's going to take like 3 to 4 days. Just depends on how fast you try to ship it. But if you were going to ship something, I'd wait until the end of this week and hope for it to get here right on time. If something gets here a couple of days early next week, it'll be fine. We will hold it. Really, we just didn't want things arriving before August. So go ahead, send it, and it'll get to the mailroom, and you'll be able to pick it up when you arrive.
The next question that we have is, do we need to RSVP for the event on 8/16? If you could, please just RSVP for the parent and family orientation as a whole, so we get a good idea of who's going to be on campus that night. You don't need to respond to specific events, just the weekend in general. That would be great. And I just dropped the link to RSVP in the chat. Next question. How do we arrange for an email outlining these events? If you want to email transitions@woostil.edu, we would be happy to provide some guidance, but really we're going to direct you back to our website since that has every event listed on it. And we're also, I believe, tomorrow launching filterable by day, which might be more helpful. But you can email us if you'd like a handout and we can figure out the best way to get you that information. Another question, will there be campus tours available on Saturday the 15th? Yes, both Saturday the 15th, or I believe that's Friday the 15th, right? And Saturday the 16th. Okay, good. Yeah, so I do know what's going on. On those 2 days, there are campus tours that will launch from the South 40. And you can stop by my office at that time. Dr. Crosby and her team may be a little busy moving people in, but you can stop by Student Transitions and Engagement, which will be located at the clock tower. We'll have students taking campus tours from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. that day. Great. Next question. Do students get to see the options for all welcome activities and do they have to sign up ahead of time? Yes, all of our events are on the website and there's nothing they need to sign up for ahead of time. However, there are a few, like I mentioned before, mandatory things that they need to complete before they arrive on campus. But we just are planning for all students to be at their specific events. And if they have a specific reception, or something of the sort, they're, they are able they have received that communication ahead of time and will see directions in their inbox on how to sign up. Please encourage your students to check their Wash U emails because that is where all of this communication is going to. Next question. My student says you can rent a microwave on campus. Is this true, Dr. Crosby?
It is. You can rent a microwave. If you go onto our website, we have a bunch of different vendors that we try to connect you with. So if you look there on the Res Life website, it'll help you get to where you can rent a micro fridge. The great thing about that is it would be in your student's room before they arrived. So you want to go onto our website pretty quickly so you can go ahead and sign up so that it'll already be in the space. It's okay if you don't get it ordered ahead of time. Maybe you're making a decision based on cost, and that's always a good thing to think about. If you order it later, this company is someone that we work with, used to be one of our student ran companies, and so they bring things every day. So someone will be around whenever you decide to order a micro fridge.
Great. I'm just answering another question in the chat, asking about parent and family orientation. So that schedule is on our website should you want to see it. Do all rooms have full length mirrors?
They do not all have a full length mirror, but many of them do. A lot of times, the way full length mirrors work for us is that a student has likely left it behind, and then we keep them in those spaces. I would say wait until you come to double check, and then you'll see if there is one in there. Sorry, that's just not something that we provide every space.
Great. When will the syllabus for classes be released? And when do we order the textbooks? Students should be able to see each faculty releases their syllabus on their own time. So students should be able to see that within their workday. And if they need more help, workday@woostel.edu is the website that they can reach out to, but they can also see most of their academic schedule, I would believe, by the Monday of next week. But again, it is up to individual faculty members on when they would like to release their syllabi. You mentioned boxes being labeled for movers. I assume luggage is similar?
It is. If you can put either a luggage tag on there, or if you don't have a luggage tag, it's okay to just tape something to the side of the luggage. Whatever it is, we just want to label everything. In the off chance that someone messes up and goes to the wrong room, if something's labeled, we can get it to you quickly. Where sometimes people like run into each other, leave things in the hallway, or families are a little confused about who said what is going where. So we just want to make sure that everything you have, anything you think someone's going to move in, just have it labeled for us.
Is it possible to pick up boxes shipped at the mail center before our scheduled move-in time?
You cannot pick up a box ahead of time. You will have to wait until your scheduled move-in time. They will be open again, that's fine, but you won't be able to get to them before that time. So there wouldn't be a way for you to go pick it up and then have it ahead of time. So we just want you to wait, get all settled, take the things you do have, and then go over there, and then we'll be able to give you a cart. Like I said, the South 40 is relatively small. So I know that that doesn't sound small, but it's a pretty walkable space where you can get from one place to the other.
Dominique, do students need a fan?
Need is a question for your student, right? A fan is something that I encourage people to bring so that they can have that conversation with their roommate of maybe they want you to turn the AC down, maybe the other person wants it up. A fan might be really helpful for one student over the other. It is hot in the beginning when students get here. We do have air conditioning, so they aren't sweltering inside of our rooms, but it is a little hot. And so if their roommate's a person who might get too cold, the AC might not be their favorite thing and a fan might help.
I've heard that a rubber mallet is helpful in changing the height of the bed. Is that true, or can it be done without bringing this item?
It can be done without bringing that item. You know why? Because you cannot change the size of the bed yourself. If your student wants the size of the bed changed, they have to put in a request. We do not allow families and parents to change the size of the bed. So you just put in a request in our housing portal, and then it'll be done for you. Someone will come and do it for you in a couple of hours. If you're the first person, it might be really fast, but please do not do it yourself. So leave all your rubber mallets at home.
Great. Another question that we got was how long do the lines get in the mailroom on move-in day?
Long. I know it sounds like it would be like really, really daunting because I said there's like 800 people coming, but they're not all coming at the same time. So you get in, it takes you about 15 minutes to check in your student, you put your stuff in the room, and then you go to the mailroom. And other people are still moving in, they're still at the duct. So it won't be a very long line and they move pretty fast. There are a lot of people working there because we know there are a lot of people coming to move in.
Will there be moving carts after 5 p.m.?
Yes, there will be. They'll just be around. There won't be a place where you have to go check them out.
And will dining be available on campus during move-in weekend?
We do like to eat, so we do have some dining for you. And we want to make sure that our students, families, friends, whoever's here has somewhere that they can eat. Over on the South 40, we have what we call the Bears Den. It will be open for folks to dine during move-in day, during the weekend, and then beyond, right? So feel free to check it out. We'll also have some snacks and things around in the residential communities. If you're not looking for a full meal and you're just like, I just need a little something to pick me up, we'll have some things.
Great. So are you saying we cannot raise the beds on our own? If we submit requests before move-in, will it be done?
It likely may not be done at this point. I'm just going to be very honest with you. We're working through all of our last minute things. But if you submit a request, it will get done on that day. So don't worry, like someone's going to come by and help move it or help move the size. But no, you cannot do it on your own. That is an absolute no from us.
And someone asked, what is the dress code for the chancellor's welcome toast? There is no specific dress code. You just wear whatever you're wearing that day. The chancellor is excited to meet you either way. Another question came in. Is there a survey where we can provide feedback following the session? We will email out attendance. If I believe we've collected your email, where we can send a specific email to solicit feedback. And I believe the person who's asked this question, I have given you the 3 emails that you can reach out to should you have more specific questions at that time. Housekeeping question. Is this only for bathrooms and living room in the traditional dorms, or is the bed areas, desk cleaned? Wondering what cleaning supplies we may need. Thanks.
Yeah. So we do housekeeping in the traditional area. If you're talking about one of our traditional residence hall, that will be for the bathrooms, the common bathrooms that they are shared. That's what will be cleaned. The kitchens, there are common kitchen areas. Those will be cleaned. The students' room needs to be cleaned all on their own. If they're in a modern building where they have their own bathroom suite in their suite style, also only the bathroom is clean. So the housekeeping staff is not here to clean their room, just their bathroom, making sure that area is kept, and then any common spaces that we have. So your student will need whatever they feel like is necessary to clean out their desk, to vacuum their floor, any of those things, wipe off their windowsill, whatever they feel like they need. Most people store that a couple items underneath their bed.
Dr. Crosby, would you be willing to drop a link in the chat to the maintenance request form?
So we can't drop a link anymore.
Okay.
The form is in the
Oh, that's right,
housing
in the
portal.
housing
Yep,
portal.
it's moved. So your student knows where their housing portal is. If they log in there, they can submit a maintenance request form and the back end on that side.
Yes. Someone asked if we have questions during move-in, who should we reach out to? You can reach out to transitions@wusel.edu. We will have someone be um, navigating that inbox, but also our offices will be open both days from 8:30 to 5 p.m. So you can also stop by to talk to someone in person should you have a question. Any other questions that folks have? The student says that they don't see a maintenance request form in their housing portal. Is it named something else?
It's not. It is called a maintenance request form. I can double check with our team to make sure it's, but it was up and live, so your student should be able to see it. Again, if they can't, for any reason, they should email reslife@worcester.edu.
Do students have their room number already?
Yep, that information is also in the housing portal. If your student logs into their housing portal, they can see their room number, their building, their roommates' names, if they have any, all that information's there.
Any last wise words to help students navigating move-in?
And I know it sounds really, really daunting. I know that you're nervous about all of these things when bringing your student here, but it is a really exciting day. We will have different folks around who are hopeful to make this a really great experience. And we're here. So if you have questions, like Ali said, our office will be open. My team will be around. If you see people in polos, we'll be around and can answer questions. Tell your students to soak it in. It's going to be fun, and I know it can be a little scary, but they're not the only one in this experience. So remind them that everyone's doing the same thing. All the first year students are just as nervous as them. So there's no need to be worried, and we got them. It's going to be a fun experience.
Yes, I would agree. And also encourage your student to be involved and go to the events. I know it can be really long days. And so for our more introverted friends, that can be a challenge. But even if they stop by for just a few minutes, that would be perfect. Can parents see their dorm information?
So you would need to be able to work with your student to log in, to go into their portal, and they can help you or share their information with you. You won't be able to just log in somewhere and find it all on your own. It is up to the student to share that information with you.
And then someone else asked, where is your office? I can speak to student transitions and family programs. When you get down to the South 40, right across from the Bears Den is the main eatery on the South 40, and our office is right across the way from that. And I'll let Dr. Crosby talk about where her office is.
Yeah, the residential life office is located on Shepley Drive, which is the drive that most folks are going to take to drop off their students. You can't miss it once you're on the South 40. If you're next to the clock tower, right across the street from the clock tower is our office, and there's a big awning that says residential life office. And again, it'll be staffed throughout that day. And if you need anything, you have any concerns, you can talk to the folks there. And most of the time, they'll get you connected with me. And so I'm happy to help you out on those days while you're here.
Thank you all so much for coming to this webinar. Dr. Crosby and I will remain on for just a few more minutes if you would like to ask any questions. But we thank you so much for your participation this evening.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for attending. We're so excited, and don't worry, we're here to support you.
Another question came in, where does my bear upload her picture? She can log into Workday. Her Workday account is where she can upload her photo that she would prefer to use for her student ID. I can't give you the exact link to it because it's all personal to each student, but if she wants to find the exact link, she can go on our website at newstudents.wusel.edu and find our bear bulletins, and each one in the summer has a specific link where she can upload that.